Hey everyone, RogueGold here. Today we've got yet another build video, and similar to sniping, playing this role is one of my favorites. As the title revealed, it's Reclaimer. This set is amazing at healing, and it can really take your team to the next level while holding out against an entire server while manhunt. Alright, so hopping right into it, let's take a look at what Reclaimer does first. So, 2-piece support station range, 3-piece support station duration. The 4-piece is that the support station will gain the benefits of all 3 of the mods that you can put on it, so it gets all of those at the same time. Now the 5-piece is, again, plus more range and duration. Then the 6-piece is what really makes this great. It gives you 50% support station health, so it's going to be very hard to take that down if this is paired with high skill power. 100% support station healing speed, this is huge. And then the talent for 6-piece is called Improved Reclaimer. The support station triggers a 90% chance to have no cooldown when it is destroyed by an enemy. This chance is increased by 20% for every 3,000 electronics. So, if you get 9,000 electronics, there is a 100% chance that when a person, either an AI or a player, destroys your support station, the cooldown is reset and you get it back immediately. This is really awesome. You want to make sure that you pass 9,000 skill power so that you're activating this because it is really great. So now let's take a look at what I have for all the pieces of gear. So for the chest piece, we have, of course, electronics, health, skill, haste, ammo capacity. That's what you're going to want there. On the backpack, we've got electronics again, health and ammo capacity. You could choose to do skill power here, and some people do that, and they get, if you roll skill power everywhere instead of health, you end up getting about 2,000 to 3,000 more healing per second tick on your box. I personally like to put health because if you have all skill power, you're going to be really squishy in PvP, and so when I get rushed, I really want to make sure that I have that extra bit of toughness so that I don't go down right away. So moving on to the mask, we have skill power, electronics, disorient, resist. The disorient would be better to be disrupt or something like that, but that's what I have, can't roll it. Gloves, we've got electronics again, enemy armor damage, skill haste, and crit damage. I would prefer to have weapon damage here, but I just don't have another pair of Reclaimer gloves, but it really doesn't matter. You're not focusing on dealing damage. As long as you can get the electronics and skill haste, that's what matters here. Alright, moving on to the knee pads. Electronics, health, and then we have blind, death, disrupt, and bleed. Those don't really matter, but yeah, health and electronics is what you want. And on the holster, we have skill haste. Let's roll back through one more time and see the mods. We have 2 electronics skill haste mods here. That's what you're going to want so you can hit as close to 50 as you can get. And then we have another electronics skill haste mod. And then all the performance mods, I choose to have healing speed. Some people prefer range so that your box reaches as far as possible. But for me, since I'm not speccing into that extra bit of skill power, I like the healing speed just to bump it up that much more. You'll get 20% if you do all 4 of those. On the mask, we have another electronic skill haste. Knee pads, another one, and another support station healing speed mod. And on the holster, we have a 4th support station healing speed mod. Moving on to the guns. This one is pretty important. The first one, the Midas, usually I say weapons don't really matter. This kind of matters. So if you don't know, the Midas exotic talent is when you hit someone, both your damage and their damage is decreased by 1% per bullet to a max of 20%, and it's reduced by 5% per second. So, since you're not dealing any damage, see our firearms is below 3,000, you're just nerfing their damage, your opponent's damage, at the same time as yours. So that's going to be really beneficial for your team so that if they're a high firearms person, they're not going to melt quite as fast. And so the Midas is pretty useful to have. Oftentimes I forget to use it a lot because I also have the Big Alejandro, which is dealing a bit more damage, but this is definitely useful for your team, so make sure you're running it. And then my secondary, like I said, is the Big Al. It's got talented on it. Both of my weapons have talented, and that's pretty important so that anytime you do kill something, which will be rare, but when it happens, you're getting that extra 15% skill power. It's definitely very useful. So yeah, you can run whatever weapon you want for your secondary. I choose the Big Al. It's got a lot of consistent damage, and when I'm in cover, I'm doing even more. And since I'm squishy, sometimes being in cover is nice. So yeah, Big Al's nice, but you can run whatever you want. You can do a house, you can do an M4, anything you want works. And then the last gun I have is the double barrel sawed-off, just with predatory. I kind of want to get one that is determined and talented. That would be a bit more useful, but anything you want there, really. Really quick, I'll go over the mods. We have just your standard crit damage, crit chance mods, and extended mag. And it should be the same for this. Yep, crit chance, crit damage. You can't get a grip, but yeah, all of those are the same. Switch back to the Midas. Going to the character sheet quick. You know, I'm still getting decent crit chance and crit damage. That's not what I'm speccing into, but, you know, it'll still be decent. And then for these skills, yeah, I'm getting 40% skill haste. This is pretty important because my box comes back super fast, especially when you can see my skill power is 315,000. You're going to be getting your skills back really quick. So let's move on to there and see. So defibrillator is, if you're going to run a first aid, honestly, that's what I would suggest using unless you have a D3 build on your team and they really need the extra shield healing. Then you want to do overdose because that's what's going to heal that shield up. But even sometimes if I have a D3 on my team, I choose a defibrillator just because it can be so clutch. If someone goes down, no one has a link, no one can do anything, they're rushing up. You shoot that, they're up right away. So that's what I choose to use. It comes back in 18.4 seconds, which is super fast. That burst healing every 18 seconds is really nice, and it's healing an ally for 281, which is usually above 2 bars for most builds that your teammates are going to be running. Then the support station. It doesn't matter. I have the life support mod on. You can run whatever mod, but I think that choosing the life support one is, I don't know. I just like to do that one. That's what a lot of people do. Doesn't matter, though. The healing rate, 28,197. So, like I was saying earlier, if you spec fully into skill power all the way, you're probably going to get a little over 30,000. But, like I said, then you're going to be super squishy, and I like to have that bit of extra health. So, 20,000 is still really good. With Talented, that's going right over 30,000, though. So, there you go. The cooldown is 14.6 seconds, which is super quick. So, even if your box just runs out of duration and someone doesn't shoot it, which if they do, you get it back right away, you're only out without a box for 15 seconds, in which time you've got your defib, you got your link, you got a lot of things to keep your team alive. So, as long as you're alive, your team will be alive. And then recovery link, that's what I'd suggest using unless your team needs you to run something else for any reason. That is definitely the best course. For the talents, we have triage for sure. So that, because all you're doing is healing your allies, so shoot that defib on the ground, you're going to get your box back even quicker. Anything like that, that's super useful. Battle Buddy, because you're reviving people all the time, defib gets them up right away. Your box, since it has all the mods, it's got an instant pickup, that's really nice. Crit save, just for that extra bit of survivability when you pop a medkit, which most of the time you won't even need your medkits because you're super good at healing, but when you do, you'll get that extra bit of survivability. And combat medic, of course, since you are healing your team, that's what you want. Alright everyone, well that is the build. This is a super fun set/roll to run, and if you've never tried out being a healer, I highly suggest that you do. It can be a lot more fun than you think. I'm going to play the footage now, and instead of the usual montage, this is going to be an unedited manhunt run that I had with my team, just so you can kind of see the sustain that this build can really give your team to let you guys go all the way. The only thing I've cut from this is the running just to save time, but other than that, it's all the same. I hope that this was helpful, guys. If you found it so, then hit that like button, subscribe, and if you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments below. But until the next one, guys, RogueGold, out.
Disavowed the division and unlocked as Rogue.
Reach the indicated location.
Warning. An agent on your team requires aid immediately.